Hey there, I'm going to embark on a new series, and this series may never end. I may regret starting this. And what I'm basically going to call it is creating a part. And so many guitar players, myself included, spend most of their time practicing soloing, when in reality, most of your time is spent when you're working as a musician. Most of your time is spent playing rhythm guitar. And it may be 100% of your time may be spent playing rhythm. You may never be asked to take a solo. Maybe you're the rhythm guitar player. Even if you're the lead guitar player in a band, um, the time you would actually spend playing solos and leads, unless it's a solo gig, unless it's just a like instrumental music, and you're the lead guitar player and you're the star of the show. Yeah, obviously, then if you're Steve Morse, you're going to spend a lot of time soloing. But everybody else, most other guitar players spend a lot of their time playing rhythm, and consequently having to come up with good rhythm parts. Especially if you're in an original band and you're trying to come up with new songs, or even if you're just doing an interpretation on an existing cover song, or in my case, a lot of times I'm playing in worship bands and uh, I have a chart handed me and I've got to make something out of it. Sometimes it's just a chart that has lyrics and chords written over it, G and then G over B and C, things like that. Or sometimes it's a more complex chart with rhythmic notation or even single note notation. And if that's the case, then if they're telling you to play these notes, then obviously the part is already created, and you're just there to replicate it and try to make it sound as musical as possible. Make it sound like you're not reading it. But if it's not written out, then you'll find that if you don't have anything written out, you'll find that you've got a lot of leeway to try and experiment a lot of things. In fact, us guitar players, and I'm number one guilty, have a reputation of kind of not settling on a part for a while. We'll kind of do the song 5 different ways until we find that thing that we're looking for, that part that in our humble opinion is the perfect part, or at least a good one. And I've worked with several guitar players in studios. Michael Thompson's one of them, who's just amazing at not only coming up with a good part, but also a great sound to go with it, and really fast. I mean, it's astonishing to work with him and see him do this, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then on top of that, to play it like he wrote the part and has been playing it for the last 10 years. It just sounds like real natural for the song. So I think that's one of the things that we as guitar players should aspire to be able to do that. Another thing that I find is common is you've not only got to come up with a part, musical notes, the concept, the voicings, or the where on a neck to play it, or all that. You also have all those pedals and guitars to choose from. You may want to go with a Strat or a Tele. You may want to go with a Les Paul. You may want to go with something more bizarre, like a baritone guitar, or like I've talked about my African tune guitar. I may pull that out, or even a high-strung electric or something. May pick out the electric sitar for a part and go, hey, this might work on electric sitar. You just never know what's going to work, and so that's in the studio. If you're working on a record, a lot of times you have time to do that. You have a lot of time to go through different instruments, different sounds, different effects, and all that, to kind of experiment, try to find that perfect part for the song. Because with a record, people are going to listen to it over and over and over again, potentially. With a movie or TV show, things go by much faster. One of my friends says it's music by the pound. We tend to record things very quickly and move on to the next thing. And so you have to get pretty good at finding that sound that's really quick. And a lot of times there's not a lot of emphasis put on, okay, we want the perfect sound for this. We just want a good sound that works for this. And so that's kind of two different schools of thought. Now, when I do TV and film work, oftentimes everything's written out. I don't have to even create a part. With records, oftentimes nothing's written out. They spin the song and say, "Here's the song. Make something out. Come up with a guitar part." And so that's kind of what I want to talk about in the coming lessons. And this is just kind of an introduction to that. And some of the things we'll talk about is maybe how to approach it from a rock perspective or an R&B perspective, and also how to think outside the box. And so, a lot of the stuff that I've already been talking about, grooves. I did a lesson on combinatorics, which is which is all of different variations, all the different chords you can make out of one chord. Things like that will probably come into play as I dissect a very simple progression and try to make something out of it. And that's going to be kind of my goal, is to just take a progression or a chord change of chords, maybe just a simple 1-4-5 progression, and say, okay, what can we do to go from the 1 to the 4 to the 4 to the 5 or whatever? Let's come up with some ideas. And some of it may be effects based, some of it may be just simple parts, and none of them are law. They're just ideas. But what I want you to see is some of the process that maybe I'm going to be going through when I come up with some ideas, and then I can give you some ideas too, some basic things, some tricks that we can use to kind of give you a starting place, and then build on that. So again, my point is that so many guitar players will emphasize the wrong thing. They will spend all of their time practicing soloing and none of their time practicing rhythm playing. So this is going to hopefully help you concentrate on the things that are the most important and that you'll benefit from the most when you're working. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.